Welcome to Bitching and Moaning, the podcast where we talk shit, spill the tea, and say all the things you're definitely thinking about but shouldn't say out loud.
We're your hosts. I'm Stephanie with Patricia, and together we're your weekly dose of sass, laughs, and just the right amount of bad decisions.
From sexy stories to petty rants, nothing's off limits. So grab your wine or your drink of choice, loosen your morals, and let's get into it.
Because if we're not bitching,
we're probably moaning. Welcome to Bitching and Moaning. We are so excited that you are with us today and every episode.
Yes.
Hopefully y'all been catching up on the previous episodes. I know we're kind of bouncing around with time, dropping them, but we appreciate the views and comments, and we hope you liked our last little spicy one.
Yeah, last couple of spicy ones.
We'll have more of that for you this summer because, you know, it is hot here in Texas, and we want to keep it that way. So, but anyways, we have some wine that we're going to talk about. Why don't you talk about yours first?
So I have my little bottle right here so I can read it. But this is from Wildwood Cellars called Lady Pearl. It's nice and pink, matches me today. And it is a sweet wine, of course. What else would it be, right? For me, 12% alcohol, and it says strawberry, but it's a white grape wine with natural strawberry flavor added.
Oh, fun.
So it's very light, looks summery to me. So it's like I thought I would do this one this time.
Very good. You know what I thought was interesting was it's in a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen wine in a plastic bottle.
I know.
And, like, I know that at one time, you know, everything was corks, and then they're like, we're going to kind of change the corks up, and we're going to do the screw caps, and everybody's like, the wineistas or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Wine enthusiasts.
There we go.
Were not happy with that, but then they're like, okay, it doesn't change that much of the flavoring and whatever, so we went to the screw caps, which I was okay with, but there's still some that have, you know, corks. But then when I felt yours and I said it was plastic, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had one in a plastic bottle. So that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, that's good for like pool parties. So now you can take your actual bottle out there if you want to. So.
Yeah, because we don't allow glass around our pool. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to try some of that later.
Okay.
But yeah. So what I have is, first of all, I want to shout out to the lovely Naomi. She's wonderful. She's one of my daughter's really, really close friends, kind of like another daughter to me. And she brought me this amazing wine. I haven't tried it yet, but boy, just looking at the bottle, looking at the ingredients in it, and just the history of it. It's called Raymond. It's a cab, which is a 2021 cab out of Napa Valley, and the bottle is so pretty. It's red. I guess I can just show it to you. Oh, look, I'm showing my bra and everything. Oh my god.
Stay with that sexy thing.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna maybe just show it to you. This bottle is so pretty. It's like velvet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really pretty velvet or suede. I don't know, but it's really pretty. And it comes from 5 generations of winemakers, and it has a hint of blackberry, black cherry, chocolate, your favorite,
yes,
and then some peppered spice, which I love peppered. So I'm really excited to try this and see what it's like.
Yeah,
so cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that one's really good.
Man. Now that is what a cab should taste like. No, for real. Like, you know, I like those bold. This is so good. I don't know where she got it from, but this is really, really good. And 14.5% alcohol content.
So you're beating me on the alcohol content today. So
I'll take it. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yes, this is something I would definitely drink again. I'd have to look for it, but we'll maybe try to find some links for it. But it's so good. It's,
this one I can. Oh, go ahead.
No, again, it's called. Let me say it again. Raymond. Raymond is the name of it.
It's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, very pretty. I almost didn't want to open it because how pretty the bottle was, but I was just like, this is a perfect timing for it to share it with y'all.
Yeah. So this one, it's like I could really taste the grape in this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's really light. So, yeah.
Summery.
Summery, yeah.
I know you like that.
So, before we
If
get
you don't
into
see anything else,
Yeah.
just let me know, because they may pop out. I don't know.
Before we get into our topic today, I'm being a princess today. As you can see with my glitter, I have my little glitter shoes on too. But I'm wearing pink because my birthday is is on Sunday the 28th. Today we're recording on Friday.
Happy birthday to you.
Do Marilyn Monroe for me.
Happy birthday to you, my bestie I love. Happy birthday, dear Stephanie. Happy birthday to you.
To me? So big cheers to that. So we're gonna.
She's turning 29 again.
Yeah,
Let's not forget.
29 again. Actually, if you multiply it by 2, which I'm proud of. You know, we're older. We love getting older, in the extent where it's like I feel youthful.
Yeah.
Even though my number is older.
I
So I actually feel like I'm kind of in the prime of my life in a way too.
Yeah,
It's like
for sure.
gone through so much crap, and you know, you get to at this point, you're just. I don't know, just stronger or something about it. So,
And
yeah.
you look amazing.
Thank you. I feel
Love it.
amazing.
Hey.
So, anyway, I just had to do a little shout out for my birthday.
It is
so,
their birthday, so we're celebrating.
Birthday coming up.
So today we decided to talk a little bit about we're going to continue from our last episode. We talked about a little bit of sex, a little bit of kinkiness. Well, let's talk about the responsibility of sex. So we are going to talk about pregnancy.
Yes.
And the different things that come with that. I know the men are like, "Oh, I'm checking out."
Yeah.
But you might want to hear this because this includes you. It takes two people,
Right.
Or at least part of a man and a woman.
Well, your fishes have to find our stuff
Exactly.
for that to happen. So your fishes are important.
Yes. But also what we've experienced having children, and some of our friends, we're probably, throw in a few, conversations about that too. But I think Stephanie and I both had different experiences being pregnant.
Yes.
And so, again, like we talk about, even though we're besties and we have so much in common, there's been times in our lives where we didn't have things in common, and it wasn't by anybody's fault. It was just how our lives were at the time. But nonetheless, the support we give each other for that, and even now. So I guess you want to go first?
Yeah. So keeping with our bitchin' theme as usually do, we'll talk about my oldest daughter, who's 29 now. So this was back in late 1996 when I found out I was pregnant. Well, the girl's dad, he's come a long way. He's a great dad now. I have to say that now, right? Time changes people. But back then, I was 28 when I 27 when I found out I was pregnant, and I had my oldest when I was 28. Well, it was not a good announcement at all.
Were you guys planning kids?
No. She was an accident. I actually thought I couldn't get pregnant because my cycles were all jacked up. Like, I can remember in high school going a year without one, but I was never pregnant, or it'd be like 2 months, 6 months, 3 months,
Really?
It was all over the place. So
Were you on birth control?
No. So I was
Okay.
never regular at all. And so I
Did
didn't.
you want kids?
I did. I always thought I would be a mom, but after, I got married at 19 to him. So by the time 9 years later, you're thinking you probably can't.
Wow.
Right. I was
9
on,
years.
I was on.
And you were on nothing?
Well, I was trying to take birth control, but it made me really sick.
Okay.
It gave me headaches. I never took it regularly.
Yeah.
So when I ended up getting pregnant, it was all like, I'm not ready to be a dad. So it was kind of like all my
9
fault.
years into it?
Yes, he wasn't
Wow.
ready. And you would think, 28, at that point, you think you're mature enough that if it happens, okay, we'll figure it out. But no, it was not I'm pregnant, or hey,
How old
let
was
me
he
wear a
when
shirt.
you guys got married?
He was 20.
Okay.
So we're about 6 months apart.
Okay, I know. I'm trying to just go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So when y'all got married, was it just kind of like goo goo gaga? Oh, we like each other. Let's just get married, and we're from a Christian family. We have to kind of get married.
Well, I look back on, I thought I was in love, very much in love, and it was like when you have rose-colored glasses on, or you believe you're in love, especially that young, it's like, this is my person.
Right.
So it was like, no question to get married.
Okay.
We're doing that. I was in college. I quit school to get married, in the path that my family had done. Everybody got married really young.
And so then when you got married, 9 years, I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't normally wait that long. Like, was everything pretty good those 9 years? They're not.
No.
They weren't. Okay.
So,
because you guys were both growing up. Literally growing up.
Well, and there was a lot of stuff in there. It's like the only time I ever, what I could say is cheating is, and let's see if I can make this a very short story. But when I was in college, I had met a guy that was in the Air Force, and we hit it off. And at that time, I thought, I mean, it was a weird, one of those electric connections. So anyway, so that kind of ended because he was in the Air Force, and I was going back home for school after my freshman year. And I ended up getting reacquainted with the girl's dad, and that's when we started to date. And we were rekindled things back in like August, promised in October, and married in May. It was that fast of the year. So when my dad made me go back to school that last semester, I was so mad. I was, oh, Daddy, don't make me go. I'm in love, blah, whatever. But I went back and thought I had, I didn't have closure, right? So I had to have closure. So reached out to the guy, which is stupid. You don't always need closure. You don't, right? So at least for me. So anyway, I met up with him. Everything was fine. He was like seeing his high school girlfriend, whatever. Well, one thing led to another, and we ended up having sex. Well, this was like probably January. Well, he and I are like engaged at this point. Whoa. So it was one of those.
Tea is being spilled today.
So after that happened,
you girls know this?
No, but
okay,
I don't
girls,
care.
It's okay. Yeah. She's still your amazing mother, so don't even.
So after it happened, like the next day, I immediately felt guilty. I felt horrid about it. Yeah. So fast forward 3 weeks before the girl's dad and I were supposed to get married, I'm like, I have to tell him. I can't go into this and not tell him. I had a friend at the time say, don't just keep the skeletons in the closet. Don't go down the road. And I didn't listen. And so I told him, and then he felt like he was trapped into getting married because at that point, So that was going on. So then we were married, fast forward a little more, to about 5 years in, and he was always just angry, had temper issues, everything, but all of a sudden it got to the point where we just got separated and then he realized why he was so mad and angry all the time is because he had never forgiven what had happened before. So we separated for 8 months, and then he wanted to get back together, so we got back together, and it was like 3 years after that is when I found out I was pregnant with Kristen. So, but at the same time, it was like, I'm still not ready to be a dad. And so I'm like, nobody's ready to be a dad, but hopefully in your late 20s that you are.
But,
so,
and at that time, you said, I'm sorry, you were or weren't taking protection?
I wasn't. And
so
then,
didn't he think that was going to be a possibility?
Well, I think he thought I was taking it regularly because I never really said that I wasn't, which was probably not the honest thing to do. But he knew it made me sick when I did take it. Because I would throw up. Yeah, so it's like a whole thing. So, I know that's a lot to unpack. We probably need about 4 episodes to go through that whole relationship.
I mean, but it kind of lays the foundation of why your pregnancies were the way they were.
Right.
Because, something leads up to where you're at,
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure they understood, our audience understood, like how we got to becoming pregnant.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that one, it's like he got laid off at work, and so I started working 2 jobs. I've done that several times in my life. So I was working at, if people know Kmart, I was working at Kmart part-time and worked all the way up. Yeah, exactly. Worked up all the way until I basically gave birth. It was like I went to work on a Friday and had Kristen like the next day. Okay. And so, but anyway, but that whole time I was abandoned. I did all the appointments by myself.
Oh, he didn't come
No, he didn't go to anything. I did everything by myself. Nice. This is how poor I was, is to get her baby furniture. I went to a resale shop and put her crib and her bassinet in layaway, paying like $15 a week. But think again, this was like 1997.
Let's cover that for a second, because resale shops nowadays are hip.
Yes, they're good.
They're good because we're trying to recycle the world, right?
Right.
So nowadays I think it's actually very smart for people to go to resale shops and buy
most
clothes
definitely.
And buy whatever you can that you don't have to spend $1 zillion on. There are some people out there that are like, no, I'm not going to use anybody else's kids' stuff. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine for you. We've bought new stuff. We've bought used stuff. But I think the point you were trying to make was just about the level of income that was coming in.
Yes.
Back then, there wasn't, I don't remember really a whole lot of resale shops. Maybe there was, but I don't really remember a whole lot of resale shops.
It was a little tiny store.
And then keep this in mind that resale, everything should be even more discounted. And if you have to put that on layaway, that's a big hefty burden on you financially. And you're pregnant and your husband isn't supporting you.
Right. And I'm, again, working 2 jobs all the way through my pregnancy. You know, it was, I was
so you
very...
said he quit his job, or he got laid off?
Well, he got laid off.
Okay. And was he looking for a job or no?
He was at one point. But yeah, it was just, the whole thing about it was not healthy. We were not in a good place, or I thought it's, you know, and maybe I thought that it was going to be better. Yeah. You know, once found out that we were having a baby
I'm glad
together.
you said that, because let's touch on that before you move on. A lot of times, and you'll even see this in movies or shows, you have these relationships that people are just like, you know, you love each other, but maybe it could be toxic. Or maybe it's just like, do I really want to be with this person? Am I supposed to be with this person? Whatever age you are, you know, you could be 19 or you could be 20 or you can be 30. You don't know. And then you're like, I know what's going to fix this. A baby.
Right.
A baby. We're going to make a baby and it's going to be beautiful. It's something we created together and we can have this wonderful life and it's going to make us both happy and he's going to love me because I have his child in me and she's going to be the greatest person in the world because she's having my baby. Okay, that's not reality. Let me just say,
not at all.
We can have a reality show about that, but that is not reality.
No.
Babies, I will honestly say, really cause so much more work in your marriage.
Yeah, it's stressful.
100%. And even if you are planning it and you're working towards having a child and you're in a happy relationship and you want to get pregnant and all of that, it doesn't change the fact that it will change your relationship 100%. And it does cause a lot more effort on so much of it.
Right.
And it could be a good thing. If you're happily married and you're like, yeah, we're let's get pregnant. We get pregnant. We're happy. The baby's great. You're happy. That's wonderful for you. That's not always the case, though. So that's why we're doing this, because we wanted to show the differences. So she's explaining to you that wasn't the case for her.
No. So ended up, you know, my daughter was born and things were just kind of trucking along like, I guess okay, whatever, but still I had
When you told him you were pregnant, what did he say?
It was, I'm not ready to be a dad. And I don't remember how it was announced, but I just remember that he said he wasn't ready. It was kind of like, how dare you do this? I'm not ready to be a dad. That's how I felt at the time.
Yeah.
So
did you do anything special or did you just tell him?
I just told him.
You just told him, okay.
Yeah. And
were you scared?
I was, because, you know, there was a part of me that thought I couldn't have kids and now I'm having a kid and what do I do? But as far as the pregnancy itself, I loved being pregnant.
Okay.
It was very normal.
Yeah.
There's something you can't even describe it until you're pregnant about feeling a baby in you. There's just the bonding that goes on with it. So for that part, it was great. I was very bonded to my daughter. So
we love you, Kristen.
Yes, she's my girl.
She's her mini me.
Yeah, she
mini
looks
you.
just like me. And I'll see if I can get permission to show a picture and everybody be like, oh my God. And I'm like, well, this is what you'll look like when you're my age, so be grateful.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I digressed there a minute. So things were okay, I guess. We were just, doing whatever. And then, but our marriage still wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pregnant again. By accident, wasn't planning on it. Our sex life wasn't the best at all.
Okay,
And
all right. I'm going to answer your questions because you're all like, if you know you can get pregnant,
yes,
were you on birth control?
no,
Okay.
but
So
that
how
one,
do you expect not to have like an accident if you're not
I
on birth
know.
control?
So that one, it's like I wanted to take birth control, but it made me feel so sick.
But what
And
about other things?
Oh, he wouldn't do those. He wouldn't wear those.
Well, so then
Condoms.
he knew the risk of
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did I think it would happen again? As long as it took me to get pregnant with a person, I know that's what they say.
You're fertile. That doesn't matter.
Right.
So
Well, and my cycles were still all over the place, so there was no way to wasn't because they were
if
just
you're
not. I know.
using protection,
So use protection. Learn from me. Use protection.
And you know what? There's somebody I know in our realm of circle that is overly protected, which I give them crap about a lot because not only are they on the pill, but they also use condoms.
Yeah.
And they just like, I don't want to get pregnant.
Right.
I don't. And I totally respect that 100%. I think I kind of think it's funny, but I kind of also feel like you're married. It's okay. You are on the pill.
Yeah.
But they are adamant that like, no, I do
now.
not want to get pregnant. So you're like the total opposite.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why
total opposite,
that is the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because you're just like, no, I'm free. I'm not going to get pregnant.
Well, and maybe it was like, I don't want to say denial in a sense, but it's like it was, again, you go 9 years and you don't think you can, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't know if I can again. But anyway.
Okay.
So
now you're pregnant with Kat.
Right.
And
but leading up to that, before I found out, so the relationship wasn't good.
About this. It's
And-
really bothering me. So. Okay.
And so they do know about this part. I did have to talk
Did
to
you
them.
ever talk to them?
Yeah, I
Okay.
talked to them.
All right.
So
I need
the
to drink for this
relationship
one.
was bad, and towards right before I found out I was pregnant with her, I don't know what his impression was, but there was a huge argument. I don't like to argue. I don't like to raise my voice. But it turned into that I needed to be the wife I was supposed to be, or he was going to do what he needed to do. It was something in that context. And I remember we were in the bedroom, and he was like pointing at me with his finger, and I mean, like all in my face. And he was going to do what he needed to do. Now, did I think I understood what that meant at the time? No. I don't think he did either. It just was bad, and I'm sure it was around sex.
Like threatening you around sex. Okay.
Right. And
Did
I'm pretty
guys
sure that
have a healthy sex life?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I just didn't enjoy
by choice?
Probably by choice in the sense where I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you not like it with him?
With him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was
That
a
makes
lot
sense.
of issues how he treated me over the years and stuff,
Yeah.
and so I think, and we've talked about that
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
If you lose that, then the sex is just sex. You're just doing your duty or whatever. So he had said that, and then it was probably. I remember I got sick after we had went out with some people that he worked with, and I thought it was the alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm like, you got to pull over, and I threw up on the side of the highway. It wasn't very pretty anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel kind of symptoms like I did with my first one where I had allergies. I started feeling sick at night. I took a pregnancy test, and at this time, Kristen was she was close to 2. And I took a test, found out I was pregnant, and I looked at it and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And to myself, I'm like, so then I remember they were sitting in our apartment. They were sitting on the couch.
They?
Kristen and their dad, my ex. Yeah. We're sitting in the apartment, and I came around and I had that pregnancy test, and I have something to show you. And I went like this. And he looked at it, and he's like, you're fucking kidding me.
No.
Yes. And I said, nope. And that was the end of that conversation.
Wow.
And
I love you, Kat.
Yeah.
You are
And
freaking
Kat knows
amazing.
Yeah.
Kat is just beautiful. She's such a... she's just such a wonderful soul. So is Kristen.
Right.
Like they're like my girls too. I just.
And it was hard.
What a shame. What a shame that is the reaction of their dad. And you know what? They're strong women.
Yes.
Probably because of obviously how you raise them. But screw that shit.
So fast forward a little bit. He started getting really distant. And I was probably about 4 months pregnant at the time. He started getting really distant. So back in the day... You used to be able to get around passwords on AOL, American Online. If anybody knows the dial-up, whatever. Everybody knows that. I miss that sound, honestly. So, come to find out, he was having an affair with a woman at work.
Yikes.
And so, while I'm pregnant, I'm reading all of this. And when women say they want to know everything, you really don't want to know everything. Yeah. So I knew the why, the when, the how, the where, all the W's about that relationship. And it was not healthy at all. Yeah. I wasn't gaining weight. I wasn't eating. I was stressed all the time. I was addicted to running at home, printing things off, reading. But he would lock himself in his office, again, doing everything by myself, going to all the appointments. Yeah. And then... Finally, about a month before she was born, when I went to my doctor's appointment, she said, your baby's going to be tiny. And something flipped in my head about, oh my God, my baby's going to be a preemie. Yeah. And it started freaking me out. And I was not in the right mindset. I mean, I knew he was at work. I had people like, is he here at this woman's house? And I had wonderful friends that would drive by and go, yeah, he's there. Because I just could not believe this. Man. So Kat, I made arrangements for somebody from work, a really good guy friend of mine, just a guy friend that I worked with, if I went into labor at work, to take me to the hospital. Wow. So that didn't happen. The girl's dad took me to the hospital. He was there for all of that. Mm-hmm. But I let him know. I told him all about the affair and how I knew, and that
at the hospital.
No, after Kat was born, later on, about, because I would make comments about. He said he adored this woman. I'm like, okay, that's a weird word. And I'd be like, if you're gonna have an affair with somebody, would you have it with her? Like, I knew all this stuff, just trying to see what he would say.
Did you know her?
Yes. Ugh. I went to dinner with them, fully pregnant. Oh, God. Yes, with her husband, and like their boss and the boss's wife, the six of us. And where we sat, I sat in between her and him. And I mean, it's so crazy. It's like I knew all this stuff, but where was I going to go? I had
right in the throat.
I had two.
It was hormones.
I had a 2-year-old and I was pregnant, and I'm like, what? I can't go anywhere. I have no resources. So anyway, fast forward. So
people kind of think that, like, well, why didn't you just leave? Why can't. Just like, let's go back to where she said she put stuff on layaway at a resale shop. Yes. So even though she was working 2 jobs, mind you, pregnant, it's just not that easy. No. And plus, you guys had a house, right?
No, we were in an apartment.
Okay, so you're in an apartment. Like, you're pregnant. You know how much pregnancy bills are for the hospital, for the baby, for whatever. God willing that nothing is wrong with the baby, or it's not a preemie. Right. You know, and luckily we've worked for insurance companies our entire career, but that doesn't change the fact you still have deductibles, you still have co-pays, you still have shit like that to pay. So it's not just easy to go like, okay, I'm going to take my kid and go wherever.
Yeah, you can't.
Let's remind everybody that your parents were very religious too. So I can't imagine you showing up at their door going, I'm pregnant. I have a little toddler, and my husband's cheating on me. Can I stay here?
I would have. I never told any of my family. So some people know now, but back then it was embarrassing because, again, you internalize a lot of stuff. Going, what did I do? Right. What did I do that was so wrong that caused you to cheat on me while I was pregnant? What did I do? And then I was embarrassed. I wasn't going to tell anybody. So,
but let's just also fast forward to now.
Yes.
There are so many opportunities and options for women to get out of situations like this. Keep in mind, our kids are 25 and up.
Yes.
25 to 30, right? So 30 years ago, there wasn't that kind of stuff. There wasn't these safe places you can drop off a kid. They didn't have that. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that they didn't have stuff like that. But
the resources
there are
like
so many resources right now, and I think a lot of parents that have kids that are in their 20s and 30s now understand the kind of stuff that we went through, so they are very much more accepting of like, okay, shit can go to the wind. I'm gonna be here for you. So if you need something, I'll help you. Don't don't be embarrassed. I will help you. So I think we've come a little bit of a ways for that. Than we did.
Right. Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Yeah, we couldn't go to our parents and say anything like that because of how we were raised. So,
I couldn't get divorced. I wasn't supposed to get divorced, right?
Not in our religion.
So I'll fast forward and wrap up my story. So I started making plans to leave. And it took me a year to get out. So Kat was 11 months old when I left. But that whole time, again, using layaway from different places, and my parents aren't stupid by any means, but I was making up excuses like I was buying furniture. I get it out of layaway, and I would take it to my parents' house and put it in the garage, and I would make up a story. God love you, Mom and Daddy. I'm sorry I lied. But I would say, oh, we're going to get a rental house, so I just need to store some furniture here until we get the house.
She was smart. She was preparing for herself.
Right, but as parents, we would both go, that doesn't make any sense. I'm
now, because we're smarter, and we've lived through it.
Yeah, so Kat was 11 months old when I moved out, and then Kristen was almost 3. Girls never knew what it was like for us to be in the same house. There was one episode where Kristen remembers her dad got mad and slammed some mini blinds, those vertical blinds, and they kind of came off the thing, and you look back and she was like, Daddy knocked the blinds down, and laughed, and of course you're like, oh, whatever. But it was things like that where it's like, I can't be here anymore. I have to leave. So that's there's a lot to unpack in there, and I'm sure we could do us a whole series on different things that we have in our lives. But my experience with being pregnant, what I had to go through, my pregnancies were great. I mean,
the actual physical
part of it. My kids were healthy. And then let me just say one more thing. When I thought Kat was going to be little and she's going to be a preemie, she came out at 8 pounds and 6 ounces.
Good for you, Kat.
And she ended up
little chunkies.
Yes, and she had they get like 6 months. She had rolls upon. I called her my little Buddha baby. But I was so relieved.
You, Kat. You're so beautiful.
So my weight, I gained. What was it? I gained only 7 pounds or 8 pounds in my pregnancy because I was going through all of that.
Wow.
No, it was 13. I gained 13 pounds. Kat was 8 of it. And by the time everything settled down, I had lost 25 pounds. So you talk about what stress does to you in your pregnancy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And even today, you wonder what stress does. There's a lot of things that I wonder in how their personalities are. They say things in the womb sometimes shape your children and you don't even know. I wonder how much of their personalities today could have been shaped from some of that. Because they say, healthy babies, you want to listen to music, right? Like classical music, and make it peaceful because they can hear it. So,
but even those, because I know people, I hate to say it, but I know people that are like geniuses and smart and had the perfect family and were rich and whatever, and they're fucking psychos.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. I just think, one, it's genetics and environment.
Yes.
I think it's those combination of things that happen, especially our environment now, because not only the foods we eat, what's going on around us, what they experience with their families, their friends, their schools, all that stuff. Like back in the day, we didn't have any of these school shootings and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like my kids grew up only knowing school shootings and bombs and all that shit and war and all that. We didn't really know that kind of stuff. So
we had tornado drills. Or something.
Tornado exactly, fire escapes. But so I do think it's a combination right now. Could it be genetically? Absolutely, too. They always say that certain things, health problems come from family genetics and stuff like that. So I've always made my kids aware of their genetics on my side of the family and on their dad's side of the family, because we're a little messed up. We have stuff going down, and I want to try to either prevent them from getting that or make them understand that this is where this is coming from.
Right.
So,
So that was my long story. So,
Okay.
and yours is opposite of mine, I'm sure, by a long shot. So tell me about.
It is.
Tell me about, because you have twins. They were.
So, yeah.
Wait, you had your oldest. You had Sarah first. Yeah.
So let's go back just a hair. I dated somebody when I was young for several years. That's kind of what brought me to Texas. And I actually thought I was going to marry the person. I loved him. I thought, I'm into the smart boys. He was an engineer, all that. But what happens sometimes with these smart boys is that they have very, very smart book, but they don't have like common sense shit. And so that didn't turn out very well. And it was an abusive relationship at the end, which was very, very hard on me. And I will never forget the words he said to me, which is kind of strange, because my mom, I got my work ethics from my mom, because my mom was just the hardest worker ever. She was raising 3 girls on her own, working multiple jobs. I just knew that I really didn't want that. I wanted a career. I wanted to have children. My best friend when I was little, we were high school best friends. We wanted white picket fences that kind of separated our houses, so that we had a little swinging gate that our kids can play together. This was our goal when I was like 15, 16 years old. And then I met this guy, and I dated him, for several years while he was in college. And then it got, abusive, which was kind of sad. And then I'll never forget what he said to me after the whole thing ended. He said, "You are going to be a lowlife living on welfare, and you will amount to nothing in life."
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Okay, you're a fucking asshole. I don't know where you are in the world,
Yeah.
but I'm putting you out there. That's an asshole thing to do.
I'll never forget that. And then that little piece, besides the work ethic that my mom had built into us, stuck with me. And I'm like, fuck you. I am going to 100% prove this person wrong. And that's what I did. I worked myself up through the ladder of career. And, was there hard times? Of course there was. But I just focused on, I am going to be a career person. I'm going to work really hard like my mom did. I was never on welfare. I just wanted to work up that corporate ladder. And remember, back in the 80s, you had to work really hard as a woman.
Yeah,
it was really hard. And being single, I was dating. I didn't really have I had guys that I dated and stuff, but I wasn't like, okay, this is the person I'm going to marry for the rest of my life, right? So I just put everything into my career. So I'm like, if I have kids, I have kids, but that really wasn't my priority. My priority was I want to be the president or vice president of a company, whatever. That was my career move. And so when I moved to Texas and I met my ex-husband, he was completely different. He was very supportive. He was very soft, loving, Southern gentleman kind of thing. And we worked in the same industry. He was moving up in his career. I was moving up. So we understood each other as where we were. And especially, with college, being educated and stuff. This person that I was with, he had a 4-year degree. He was an engineer. He has a master's now. He's a senior vice president of an energy company. He makes millions of dollars, but that's not what my focus was. My focus was let me just build something for myself. And my ex-husband understood that, and we understood each other. And I think the softness of that and the loving part of that is why we connected so well, and we were married for a while. And I say this lightly, just hear me out. I say this lightly. Children were not my priority. They were not. Work was. I just wanted to climb the corporate ladder, make a lot of money, have toys, have a great house, whatever. So I tried to put off kids as much as I could because he wanted kids.
Yeah.
Our entire family wanted us to have kids because my sisters had already had kids. They had kids at like 21 and 22. I got married at 24, 25. So, mind you, I'm way behind, you know. So, it's not that I didn't want to have kids. It just wasn't my priority. So, sometimes I say, I never want to have kids. I did deep down inside when I was younger. I just had a different mindset when I got older. So then I started using a lot of excuses like, we live in an apartment. We need a house. We buy a house. We don't have a church to go to. We start going to a church.
We find a church.
Yeah. I just, excuse me, it was just like excuse after excuse to not have kids, right? And then, like, the final excuse was, like, I have no family here. I'm in Texas. All my family was in Chicago. He moves my mom down here to live with us. I'm like, shit. What am I going to do now? So I finally said, all right, I'll give in. Were
you on birth control the whole time?
The whole time. The whole time. I was like, hell yeah, birth control. I'm an advocate of it. Not everybody is, but I'm an advocate of it. I was on it since I was young. But I was like, all right, here we go. And I just thought, well, we'll just see what nature happens. And so I actually got pregnant pretty fast after I got off the pill. And I remember, this is again, different things. He wanted children. He wanted lots of children. And so we went to a Mexican restaurant and I had bought a little, like, I think it was like a basketball outfit or something. I don't know what it was. Because, you know, not that you always want a boy, but like my ex was very masculine. Boy hunting, fishing, all that. So, of course, whatever. But I bought a little basketball outfit and I gave it to him and he started crying. And
But you didn't know you were having a girl at that point?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was having. I just wanted to show him that I was pregnant. Yeah. And he was like, I honestly think he went down on his knees crying. Like, we were at this Mexican restaurant and he was just hugging me and he's like, this is the greatest thing. And I was happy too because that's where we were going. Yeah. We were going to make a family. We were happy together. I knew he would be a good time. Things are different now at the time. And so we were excited and I had the best pregnancy. I worked my entire, I'm a corporate trainer for companies, insurance companies. I worked my entire time while I was pregnant. I was actually on an assignment in another area we live about an hour from Dallas. So I was on an assignment in Dallas and I did not tell my bosses that I was pregnant because I didn't want them to pull me. That's how career minded. I didn't want them to pull me off the assignment. So I was throwing up, dry heaving for 3 or 4 months. Thank God the girl that was with me, she was a really good friend of mine, at the time. Unfortunately, I've lost contact with her, but her name was Cheryl. She was so good to me. She took care of me. Yeah. She gave me crackers. Like, she was so good to me, and she vowed not to say anything because we were there together. And so the summer went by, and we're like, we got to go back to our office at some point. So I went into the office, and I told my boss, I said, I'm pregnant and her kid has to go back to school. So we need to get off this project. So they're like, and that's why a lot of people say like, oh, you're pregnant, you can't do a job. No, yes, you can do a job. And we were getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to drive to Dallas, an hour away, do our jobs and come back. Sick or not sick, I was going to do my job because that's how my brain worked. So anyways, we came back to our regular jobs and then my pregnancy was fine. I had a great pregnancy. I continued working. I was teaching a class and I went into labor. It was around Valentine's Day. No. It was Christmas. That was Christmas. So I continued to teach and they're like, you need to go. I'm like,
you need to go.
I'm not ready to go. Let's finish this lesson. And they're like, no, go. So
you're going to birth right here in the training room.
So my oldest was due to be born in January, but she came early. She came right around Christmas time. So I went in. I had a private room. My husband was with me. We were watching Jerry Springer, like yelling at the Jerry Springer was yelling at each other and stuff. We were just like, it was fine. Like I really had a smooth pregnancy. The only problem was that I went into labor on a Friday and my gynecologist was out of town. So I was, and I only have female doctors. No men are going down to my hoo-ha. And so I get in there for labor and they're like, well, she's out of town. I'm like, okay, I'm crossing my legs till she gets back. So they gave you that, what's like potassium?
Pitocin or something
whatever the
like
heck
that.
it is they give you to kind of stop the contractions and shit. So Friday, I'm in there. I'm in there all weekend because I ain't spread my legs for my male associate doctor. And then she finally comes in on Monday morning. How are we doing in here? I'm like, can you get this out of me?
Yes.
Can you get her out of me?
Yes.
And so and that was another thing. Like when we found out that it was a girl, we didn't have any of those reveal party shits.
Oh, none of that existed back then.
That did not exist.
You just kind of called and told somebody,
hey, Mom,
we're having a girl.
We're having a girl. None of that shit happened.
That we could make a whole episode about that stuff.
So anyway, so she comes in at 7:00 in the morning. I'm like, I've been ready since Friday. Let's move this along. 2-3 pushes, she's done. She's out. I'm an overachiever with this shit. Get this shit. We're done. And she was like the best baby ever.
Yeah.
Best. We were so happy. We were a little family. He had his kid. Here you go. Okay, I'm ready to go back to work. And I mean, I was ready to go back to work.
Yeah.
My job was safe for me. I was going to train. I was, And then he goes, okay, great. Well, in a couple of years, we'll have a couple more. And I'm like, what? I was like, wait a second. You have this. She never cried. My oldest daughter, Sarah, perfect baby, if you can ever imagine. She would wake up giggling, and laughing. She never screamed. She always smiled. She was always just so happy. We were like a happy little family, and it was just so wonderful. We both had our careers. He was already into his career. I was in mine. We had our house, a little starter home. It was perfect. It was just a perfect little life for us. And then he's like, well, I want more. And I was I don't.
It's I just birthed one.
I did.
I was just a minute.
and she's perfect. What more do you want? And
let's stop while we're ahead.
So then I said to him, okay, I can't wait 2 or 3 years. I'm going to be a president of something in 2 or 3 years. I'm not going to do this all over again. I said, so if you want another one, then we need to do it now and get this over with. So you can have your 2 kids and I can have my career and we can move on, right?
Yeah.
So we tried again. I guess maybe I skipped school when they said that you're fertile myrtle after your first. Because my daughter was 9, I guess she was maybe 9 months old. I don't know how old she was, but at 6 months old, 7 months old, I don't know, when I got pregnant again.
Your kids are 13 months apart?
13 months apart.
Okay, yeah, so you were 3 months or 4 months. Sarah was 3 or 4 months old when you got pregnant again, so that was really fast.
Crazy.
You were barely out of that little waiting period.
So we were trying, and so the second time I told him I was pregnant, it was kind of funny. We had one of those big ass computers in our room, like the monitor screen was the big huge
the big
white
green one.
No, it was white with green lettering.
The green letters, the green
and so I'm
screens.
like, okay, how can I tell him that I'm pregnant? So I wrote on there, it went across, you're gonna be a daddy again, or whatever. I'm pregnant,
that's
or whatever.
Cool.
And so I said, oh, you should probably go in the room and check out the computer. He went in and he was ecstatic. He was so happy.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted. He wanted another baby. And my first one was perfect. No problems, no nothing. Easy, no problem. So then the second one, I'm thinking, okay, well, it should be easy too. I'm an overachiever. We're going to get this shit up. I did not stop working and I gave birth, and then I went right back to work.
Yeah.
And I got to work from home, luckily, but I'd never stopped working because that's just who I am. So I'm working as I'm pregnant, and everything's going well. Like, we go into get the little, okay, let's hear the heartbeat. Okay, here's the heartbeat. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, good. You're fine. Another month or two. Here's the heartbeat. Beep, 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 beep. You're fine. And I wasn't gaining a whole lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't gain a whole lot of weight for my second pregnancy, but I was really, really sick. Like, I couldn't hold anything down. I was really sick. But I'm like, that's okay. You know, each pregnancy is a little different. So I'm OCD with a lot of things, and one is being planned and organized. So my daughter had her room all set up. So I said, okay, I'm going to go buy another crib, another high chair, another high seat, and that way I'll be really ready because I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And whoever's coming in, my mom, whoever, everything's ready to go, right? I bought this really beautiful canopy, like it was round, and it was like a canopy bassinet, like it was beautiful. It was so
I didn't
pretty.
see that at the resale shop.
No, it was so pretty. And I was like, okay, this is great. So she's gonna have a little sister or brother, whatever. So mind you, I didn't get very big until I was about 5 months, and then all of a sudden, boop, this like this overnight, this punch came. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? What was that? But okay, I'm pregnant, my second pregnancy, whatever.
A little different.
And so at 6 months is when we went in. The two of us are sitting there. He was with me every doctor's visit, everything.
As it should be.
As it should be, everything. Very supportive. We were very excited about having another little brother or sister. And we went to do the ultrasound, and the nurse said, what do you guys want? You know, just curious, right? Well, I thought, okay, we have a girl. She was perfect. I want a boy. Like, let's just have the two be done with it, right? And so I said, well, I want a boy. And then my ex-husband was like, well, Sarah was so perfect. I want a girl. And I was like, I was kind of surprised about it because he's just so into the hunting. But he figured he can transform girls into hunters and all that shit too. And so I said a boy, he said a girl, and the nurse goes, how about one of each? And I was like, no. We're good. We just want one. She's like, no, I'm serious. One of each is inside of you. So I had a boy and a girl, twins, inside my body at 6 months, and I did not know until that sonogram.
And that's crazy because they say, like, some of these shows where it's like they have a baby and they never knew they were pregnant.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So you have not quite to that extent, but you had no idea.
Nope, because every time I went in, they just said, oh, here's the heartbeat, and I wasn't that big, and it was you good.
Yeah.
So I started crying. I was just, like, hysterically crying, and my ex-husband was like, laughing, this is, like, great, I get 2 for 1 now, this is great. Like, he wanted a football team, you know? This is great. I was dying because, like, first of all, 2 humans are coming out of my hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And I didn't prepare for this. I'm a preparer, and I only have one of everything.
Yeah.
So I had to get my shit together really fast. And it's funny because we came back to our house, and we were calling people, hey, guess what we're having? And my ex-husband's a big jokester or whatever. And we told them, they did not believe us. They said, no, you're not. Ha, ha, ha. What do you really have? They didn't believe us.
Yeah.
And we're like, we have the sonogram. We'll show you.
Yeah.
And then after like a few minutes, we're like, are you guys serious? Well, you have a baby right now, and 2 more are coming. And boy, girl. So anyways, thinking fast, I traded everything in. I got 2 more cribs, a triple stroller, 2 high chairs, plus my other daughter had high chairs. So I had 3 high chairs, 3 of everything. They were literally, I think they call them like Irish twins or something like that. But 3 of everything I had. And we were going to outgrow our little house, which was perfect for us. So we had to build a bigger house, which meant obviously more expenses. I had a Jaguar. I had to sell it. Like, I had 2 cars. I had my play car. I had to buy a minivan. Like, I had to go full-fledged fucking mom mode. So the I had a Jeep and a Jaguar, and I was like, I had to let one of them go. I had to let them both go because, like, you know, now we have like 3 car seats. So where are they gonna fit? You know. So, anyways, so we built a house to fit all of us in it, which was amazing. We had an amazing house, beautiful time, and you know what? Even though the pregnancy was a little bit harder because I was creating 2 humans, it was still okay.
Yeah.
I was still working.
You figured it out.
I was still, you know, figuring it all out. And then I got like a cold or the flu or something that actually threw me into labor.
Oh, wow.
At 8 months. So I had preemies.
Oh, wow.
So I figured it out at 6 months. I had a month to prepare, and then at 8 months, it threw me into labor, so I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
So I had preemies. I had little ones. They were 5 and 4'10" or something. Whatever. They added up to 12 pounds altogether, but whatever. So my daughter was a little bit smaller than my son. And I had them naturally, mind you. Good for drugs. Take the drugs.
Yes.
Take the
gosh,
this natural shit, don't do it. The drugs, they're fine. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
So, but it was very different than my first one because I couldn't be in my beautiful private little room watching Jerry Springer. I had to be on an operation table, a metal table, and I had 2 of everything. So 2 respiratory therapists, 2 nurses. My anesthesiologist was fighting with the nurse who, like, it was like a 3-ring circus because there were so many people in there. Just because you're possibly, if you can't give birth naturally, they have to do a C-section, which, you know, operation, all that. I'm a trooper. And don't get me wrong, she's good down there. She's all good. My remember the last episode, my nanny said, "You're good," and that was after they were born. But they were born 2 minutes apart, and like my son was bigger than my daughter. He had like these big ass hands that just like flopped over, and he looked like a little old man. He was kind of cute, you know. And Emily was just kind of like small and petite, and she was so cute, but. Everything was wonderful, and we were now a family of 5.
Yeah, within a matter of 2 year and a half.
A year and a half.
Wow.
So it was a lot of stress. And keep in mind, we were both still working. I'm very anal when it comes to, like, raising your kids. Like, I know my mom was a nanny for very, very wealthy people, and they had nannies for everything. They had a morning nanny, afternoon nanny, a night nanny, chefs, whatever. Like, that just wasn't my world. My world was like, we're working class people, and I wanted my kids all to be like on the same schedule.
Right.
I wanted them to all nap at the same time, eat at the same time, because it was just me. Like, I was still working from home, but my husband went back to work after, you know, a few weeks, whatever. So it was just me, and I wanted them. And trust me, my family really did want to help out. My mom helped out a lot, but, like, you know, grandparents are just like, let me do this and let me do that. And I'm just like, okay, she's going to be sleeping. He's going to be awake. She's playing, like, all over. And then you go crazy. And so I did not want that. I really just said, I'll ask for my help when I need it, but let me just do this on my own. And I took that upon myself. And I'll be honest, I'm very, very thankful. Thank God. I didn't get, like, post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic stress. I didn't get any of that. I was very, very fortunate. I know a lot of women do get that, and I really, really pray for them. And I know that's just a very hard struggle because, like, I remember one of our friends calling me. I had 3, and she had 1. And I think she was like pregnant with another one. But she was just like in her garage, freaking out, crying, going, I I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Are you okay?
I have 3 children under the age of like 1, and you cannot handle 1. It was just, it was really weird for me to hear that kind of stuff. But anyways, it is what it is. Everybody handles it differently. So, so that's kind of where we had our babies. We were happy. We were a happy little family of 5. Everything was good. I will say my ex was a really good father in the beginning. He really was. I think this is kind of why I say, if you think that a baby is going to cure everything, I think this is kind of where we started to go south.
Yeah.
Because by the time they were like 3, it wasn't him and I anymore.
Right.
It was work, life, kids, and then he chose an activity of hunting. I didn't have extra activities, to be honest with you. I didn't. My kids were my activities. Like,
and there was no way where you were treated like a woman or just as a person. It was like your mom, and now that's your role, and it's like that's your job, so I'm going to still go do what I want to do.
Right.
Without thinking, you still have to remember you're a married couple. Right. You're male, female, right? You still want to have that relationship.
Exactly. And I unfortunately, I didn't have like these hobbies like he did. I really didn't. I like to go drink wine, like wineries and stuff. And let me tell you, we had unlimited babysitters. My mom lived here. My sisters lived here. We had people from our church. Like, we had unlimited babysitters to go out on dates, to do all that. But, like, he got comfortable.
Right.
And, I guess, is it complacent?
Complacent, yeah.
And that we were just going to live our lives. And he knew how much my career meant to me. And that's all I really had was my career and my family. And, again, I'm not blaming him for everything. I'm just saying that after like 2 or 3 years where there wasn't any kind of like that connection that I needed,
right,
my job sent me away for a business trip, and that's when I met Rob.
Yeah.
And so that's when things started like unraveling a little bit. Going to therapists, going to whatever. And I know that we've already talked about all that, but like as far as the pregnancy part of it, I had great pregnancies. I really did. And I had a supportive role with my ex-husband and with my family. I was very lucky that way. It was just after the fact that things went the wrong way. So again, we have different stories because we had different pregnancy experiences.
Yeah. Well, even one thing I forgot when you were talking, both of your pregnancies were natural. Kristen, my oldest, she was a C-section.
Okay.
And it wasn't a planned C-section. And it was like I was in labor for a while and I wasn't dilating any further. I can't remember what the number was, but anyway, she just wasn't progressing. And then I started to run a fever, and they're like, oh, no, we got to take you and you got to do a C-section. And then come to find out the cord was under her arm.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember both times crying with my girls because the operating room and all of that. I remember the girls' dad was here. He didn't do all that business down there. There was no recording.
We have recordings.
My
ex had a camera. I'm like, where the hell is that tape? I said this in my will. Kids, if when I die, you find that tape of things down there, I'm sorry. But he was recording everything for both of them.
So I have a funny story about that. So let me finish up this because I know we're like getting long on our time.
Yeah.
But, so she was a C-section. I remember crying. God, I wasn't planning that, and to find out the umbilical cord, you hear horror stories your baby could die. With Kat, she was natural. I was like, God, no wonder people are out in the fields after they birth. This was a breeze. But I also remember crying with her because I was so relieved at how healthy she was, how much weight she was. Yeah. But my little quick story about video cameras. So when I went into labor with Kristen, we didn't have video camera. And this is like, remember, they would just come out. So we're at Sears in the mall, and we went there. I don't know why we went there to get a watch to time the contractions, but while we're in there, I'm having contractions, and we're buying a video camera. So then we go down to the hospital, and then we're there. I'm in labor, and he's like, "Oh my God, I got the wrong batteries for the camera," and he's like, I'm going to go get them. Don't have the baby till I get back. And I'm thinking, how ridiculous is that, right? So needless to say, he got the batteries and came back. Everything was fine. And we have, videos in the hospital with both the girls. But yeah, that's just, stop. Put a cork in it. Don't have the baby till it's done. So
no, I only had 2 requests when I went into labor. And one was, I have this utter fear. It's just an anxiety of being pinned down.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot handle it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't think my therapist has ever told me where it comes from. But, like, when you get pinned down and people start tickling you and all that.
I hate that, too.
I fucking hate that. But, like, so I told my husband, do not let them pin me down. Because when you go into the operating room, sometimes they, like, pin your arms down and shit. I said, do not let them pin me down. That's one thing. And do not let my mom anywhere near what's happening, because my mom stressed me out a lot. I mean, as much as she supported us and as much as she gave to my children, which I'm 100% always grateful for that she did, in stressful situations, she makes it more stressful. So I didn't want my mom or anybody near me afterwards. Let's tell them afterwards. And so the thing, and then that's what happened with the twins. My anesthesiologist got into a fight because the nurse I had, she had a training nurse with her.
Okay.
Which I was okay with. She asked me, she's like, is it okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So when we got into the room where the metal operating table was, they were trying to get me onto the metal thing, and the assistant nurse who was training was messing with my cords and shit from my anesthesiologist, and my anesthesiologist got pissed, so he starts yelling at her. So they start fighting, and now at this point, my ex-husband is nowhere to be found. I'm like, where is he? Yeah. And I don't know if he was reloading the battery. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but like they start fighting, and then the nurse who's training her starts fighting. So they're all fighting, and then I feel like my arm's getting pulled. I'm like, I start freaking out. I'm like, where the fuck is he? And then like all of a sudden my gynecologist bursts in the room, and everybody's screaming and yelling, and she's like, everybody stop. And then you hear me going, she's like, Patricia, calm down. I'm like, where is he? And then he's like right behind her. I'm like, where the fuck are you? And it was literally like a 3-ring circus. And then everybody just, like when she came in, everybody just calmed down, and we got our shit together and got our business done, But yeah, that was like only the only crazy part. Yeah. But other than that, like, it was good. And I am 110. You guys, if you guys know any of our social media, like, I cannot live without my kids.
I know.
I can't. My kids are my life, and I am so grateful. Out of everything that happened with my ex, I am grateful that that's what I got from it, regardless of everything else.
And I think about that too, because I separated with no intention to go back to the girl's dad. And if I wouldn't have went back, I wouldn't have either one of my girls. And I am so proud of the women they are today. Yeah, and I just cannot imagine. I dote on them. I love on them. I still kiss their cheek. They don't like it. I'm like, just deal with it. I'm your mom. That's what I do, right? Yeah. But I cannot imagine my life without them.
I couldn't either.
Yeah,
I definitely imagine my life without my ex. That's fine. I'm good with that. And now that my kids are older, some of them imagine their life without him too. So it's all right.
Well, in mine, I never put my garbage on my kids. That was one thing I tried very conscious to do. Is not do that. But I was like, they're going to find out.
He proved it to himself as they got older.
Right. And so I was like, if that's who he is to his core, they'll find out.
Yeah.
But
and they do.
Well, for yours, that's where ours are a little bit different, right? So my girls have a good relationship with their dad, where some of your kids don't have the best relationship. So it's just kind of interesting how I'd say through all of our lives, ours is always flip-flopped where we've been at. But,
I let my children make their own decisions because they are adults, and I will always support whatever they want. I always do say, have you talked to your dad? how are things going? Because you know what? We are getting older, and there's going to come a day where I'm not okay or he's not okay,
right.
and I'm still their mom, and that's still their dad, and whatever that means. And I know what it feels like losing parents and loved ones. So I don't speak ill of him at all. I don't really speak of him at all. I just always want to make sure that my kids know that we're getting older, and to check on each other, check on me, check on him, whatever.
Well, that's what I wanted for my kids, is I just wanted them to form whatever relationship they wanted with their dad, and they're actually, I think, have really good relationships with their dad. And again, he is not the person he was 30 years ago, right? So I am glad that they're forming their own relationship.
Either.
Well, mine more in a better way, but anyway.
All right, so we probably need to wrap it up. There are so many more things I would love to talk about this, because I have so many friends. Maybe we'll make a part 2, because I have friends that had a really hard time conceiving, and I know their stories, and I think we should talk about that. So maybe we'll make a part 2 of this, because we just talked about ours, but maybe we can talk next time about like how hard it is to conceive,
right?
You know, all the things that are available nowadays. People are using donors and not even needing the man,
and women, it's like they don't ever want to be married, but they want to be a mom. So there's all kinds of things.
So we'll wrap this up. Any moaning you got?
I don't have a moaning. I think I moaned enough about bitching. I guess to tie back into the bitching is, I'm sad that I didn't have the experience like you had, and the gender reveals, you know. I feel like I missed out on something. So, but hey, you know, my girls are great, so I can't complain. That's just a little tiny speck of time compared to the whole life.
We love our crew, all our crews.
And maybe they'll give us permission to like at least put, I have a couple pregnancy pictures, maybe I can drag those out and we can put them up there to show I have different hair,
oh my god, we look so different. I don't know, I have some, but they're probably in storage, but anyway. I think the only moan I have is y'all know FIFA is here. It is soccer time in the USA. The USA has been doing really, really well. My Colombian roots are going to show. I'm so proud of Colombia. I'm going to moan because I know going into this, people were like, Colombia sucks. They're terrible. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I've been watching them. I've been watching the U.S. I've actually been watching a lot because remember, my son's in, I got to know my son's language.
Right.
But I've also been enjoying it with my family and my kids because they've also been enjoying the Colombia and the USA matches. So my moan is just that our next game is tomorrow and we play Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's an elimination round. And Ronaldo is probably, if not him or
Spain,
Messi,
right?
Okay. He's Portugal.
Okay.
And Messi is Argentina. Those are like the 2 greatest soccer players right now. And they're doing amazing in the World Cup, which some of it is here in Dallas, Texas, which we're so excited about. So we've been watching that. So I'm just going to moan because I'm like really excited about our Colombia team. I hope that they win. But again, you are playing like one of the greatest soccer players in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, watching greatness.
Exactly. And so just that they actually got to that point to play him, I'm going to moan and say I'm so proud of y'all. Proud of my Colombian roots. And
to wrap it up, Maternal Instinct, if you haven't seen that on Netflix, that kind of goes along with pregnancy and things like that.
Terrible.
It is it's a very sad story, but
how do you say that?
It's a documentary. And I actually remember seeing a clip years ago about this woman in the hospital when she supposedly had her baby and that kind of thing. I don't want to give it away, but it is a very sad story, but it goes along with people wanting to be mothers so bad and what they will do, So anyway.
And on that, today I watched a documentary on the woman who killed her 5 children in Houston. Andrea Gates.
I watched that too.
That really
such a sad
story, but it's really good because it talks a lot about postpartum and how important it is to realize what postpartum does to women. Not only postpartum, but the environment
Right.
that they have to deal with. So watch those two.
Yeah,
And,
that made me totally change my thought
Yates.
about
Andrea
her.
Yates.
Andrea Yates. Yeah, maybe changed my thought about her because I was like, what makes a person do that? It feels
we did that too because we live here in Texas and we
Yeah.
hear these crazy stuff. And
Crazy.
we're like, oh my God, how could you do that to your children? But anyways, all right, so we're gonna wrap it up.
We've had a
Thanks
lot
for
of wine.
joining
We're
us.
talking a lot.
Cheers and happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
And until next time.
Alrighty, bye y'all.